Talk number 5. Always look before you act. Some parts of accident prevention can't be covered by strict rules. In industrial environments, unusual situations can happen. They may seem new and unexpected, even strange. And because they are rare, it's hard to create rules for them. This is when good judgment must take over. A worker who cannot apply safety principles to new situations is a danger to themselves and to the entire team. A worker who can be trusted to act with caution is extremely valuable to their company. Years ago, a tragic accident happened at a steel factory. A veteran worker, his job was sweeping the floors, was killed by a crane. Everyone in the plant knew him and liked him. One day, he was sweeping near a railway track, where a flatbed wagon was parked. A crane operator was moving a large box of scrap metal. He swung it over the wagon and lowered it without realizing the sweeper was bent down there. The box crushed him instantly. The crane operator couldn't see the exact spot where the box would land, but he assumed no one was there. He didn't use good judgment. Now, he lives with that mistake for the rest of his life. We could easily list all the things the operator should have done, and he probably knew them too. Since childhood, he likely heard the old saying, "Always look before you act." Too many people act without thinking. Only when tragedy strikes do they finally understand that old advice. If we could all remember just a few basic rules. Never drop a heavy object without checking where it will land. Never touch a metal part unless you're sure it's not hot. Never light a fuse unless you're sure no one is nearby. Then we could prevent many injuries and deaths. All of us, at some point, have acted without thinking of the consequences. But most of us have learned, often from a bad experience, to always look first. However, some people still do the opposite. They act first, then look. At first glance, that might seem like a silly game. But if you look closely at the results of that game, you'll see the consequences can be tragic. Speaking of games, I remember a story I read in a magazine. Andres, it said, was a man who liked to gamble with fate. He lived without thinking ahead. Even after several close calls, he made it to 40 without major injury. But one day, his luck ran out. Like always, he backed out of his garage without looking. Then, he heard a terrible scream. He jumped from his car and saw the body of his only child, crushed under the wheels. The boy was just 3 years old. Andres is now 60. And he always looks twice before he acts. But do we need something that painful to learn the same lesson? So before I finish, let me repeat that old saying one last time. Always look before you act. Remember it every time you're about to do something. Out of respect for your family, your co-workers, your company, and for yourself. Look first. Always.